In the sacred nexus where ancient spirituality and cutting-edge science meet, at that point of stillness where the mystic and the quantum physicist look into each other's eyes and recognize the same mystery, lies a concept as profound as it is enduring: the Akashic Records. The term, like an ancient key, derives from the Sanskrit word Akasha, meaning ether, sky, or atmosphere. But these translations barely scratch the surface of its true meaning. Akasha refers to a living compendium, a holographic memory of all universal events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intentions that have ever occurred, are occurring, or will occur in the vastness of time and space. It is the cosmic book of life. This idea, soul seeker, is not new. It has resonated in the mystical traditions of humanity for millennia as a truth whispered from initiate to initiate. The ancient Vedas called it Smriti, the sacred memory, while the Bible alludes to it in Exodus. However, it was through the theosophical movement of the late 19th century that the concept was formally introduced into the spiritual lexicon of the West, poetically described as the indestructible tablets of the astral light. Today, we embark together on an exhaustive investigation of this fascinating and fundamental dimension of reality. Our goal is not merely to inform you, but to transform your understanding of the universe and your place within it. This is not a simple compilation of definitions, but a deep analysis and synthesis of the teachings of many key contemporary figures whose work has redefined our relationship with this living memory. We will weave a coherent tapestry from seemingly disparate threads, demonstrating how quantum physics, intuitive perception, past life memory, and galactic history converge into a unified vision of the universe, not as a cold, meaningless machine, but as a vast, conscious information system, a thinking being of which we are a part. The modern narrative of the Akashic Records is defined by a remarkable, almost miraculous convergence between two great currents of human inquiry. The first is scientific spiritual investigation, which seeks to anchor the concept in an empirical and theoretical framework, using the language of quantum physics and systems theory. The second is metaphysical experiential exploration, which is based on evidence obtained through altered states of consciousness, such as regressive hypnosis, channeling, and deep meditation. Throughout this journey, we will analyze how these two currents inform and validate each other, and at times reveal inherent tensions, offering together a multifaceted and unprecedented understanding of the universe's living memory. I invite you to open your mind and your heart, for the story we are about to unveil is not a story about something external to you. It is the story of you. To comprehend the totality of the Akashic concept, it is imperative to analyze the two pillars upon which its modern interpretation rests. The first, which we will now explore, seeks validation and explanation through the scientific paradigm, translating ancient mysticism into a language of energy fields, quantum physics, and universal coherence. It is the attempt of the modern mind to build a bridge to the soul of the cosmos. The construction of what we can call the scientific spiritual paradigm is not an accidental development, but a deliberate strategy to legitimize ancient esoteric concepts in an era dominated by scientific materialism. The process begins with the recognition that ideas like a universal information field are ancient and found in mystical traditions worldwide. Simultaneously, modern science, particularly quantum physics, has introduced revolutionary concepts like the zero-point field and non-locality, which challenge the classical understanding of reality and open the door to a more holistic view. Various research currents identify the profound conceptual resonance between these ancient ideas and new scientific theories. Consciously, they have adopted the terminology of quantum physics, zero-point field, holographic matrix to rename and recontextualize the mystical concept of Akasha. This act of translation has a clear purpose: to make spirituality more palatable to a modern audience that values the authority of science, creating a bridge that allows people to hold spiritual beliefs without feeling they are rejecting logic. This synthesis is in itself a cultural creation designed to resolve a fundamental tension in contemporary Western thought. In the quest for a scientific model for the Akashic Records, one of the most important articulations of our time posits that the Akashic field, or a field, is not a metaphor, but a real phenomenon with a direct equivalent in physics, the zero-point field of the quantum vacuum. Imagine space not as an inert and empty void, but as a subtle, vibrant sea of fluctuating energies, a cosmic womb from which all things arise, atoms, galaxies, living beings, and even consciousness itself. This field is the foundation of all existence. This perspective introduces the concept of information to describe the active role that information plays in the universe. It is argued that information is not an abstract epiphenomenon, but a real and subtle factor, a fundamental property of the cosmos alongside matter and energy. The A field is an information field that records everything that happens and in turn influences everything that will happen. This information field is what creates the non-local coherence observed in quantum physics, where particles that were once connected remain instantly correlated across vast distances, as if space did not exist for them. This same coherence, it is argued, manifests in the precise fine-tuning of the cosmological constants that allow the universe to exist, in the organized complexity of biological systems that defy entropy, and in the phenomena of consciousness, such as telepathy and intuition. In this vision, the universe is a self-actualizing and self-organizing cosmos, a coherent whole where every part is in resonance with all others, creating the conditions for the emergence of life and consciousness. This model re-enchants the cosmos, restoring a sense of unity and purpose that unites science with the most ancient spiritual traditions. Complementing this vision, the model of the divine matrix emerges, a framework that describes this energy field as a force that acts simultaneously as a container, a bridge, and a mirror. As a container, it is the space that holds the entire universe. Nothing exists outside of it. As a bridge, it is the invisible network that connects all things, explaining why, once something is joined, it always remains energetically connected, regardless of the physical distance that separates it. And as a mirror, and this is the most crucial and empowering aspect, it reflects in the outer world the beliefs and, above all, the emotions that we create within ourselves. The most practical aspect of this theory lies in what has been called the keys to conscious creation. The fundamental key is that the language the divine matrix recognizes is not logical thought or the spoken word, but feeling. To create a change in reality, one must generate the feeling that the desired outcome has already occurred. This emotion, free of ego and judgment, generated from the heart, is what speaks to the field and reorganizes reality to reflect that internal belief. This concept connects directly with studies on human genetics, where it is suggested that the sudden appearance of modern humans 200,000 years ago with an advanced brain and nervous system and a unique genetic fusion in our chromosome 2 points to something beyond Darwinian evolution, hinting at a form of intelligent design or intervention. We were, in a sense, designed to interact with this matrix. The vision of an informational and energetic universe is reinforced by the work of various researchers who, from different angles, reach astonishingly similar conclusions. From the study of intuition, the concept of a home frequency is introduced, a unique personal vibration that communicates who we are and shapes our reality. In what has been called the Age of Intuition, Sensitivity to these frequencies allows us to develop an empathic resonance, receiving subtle information directly from the environment and from other people. This work provides a practical manual for navigating this energy-based reality. Research in water crystallography offers a visual and beautiful demonstration of these principles. These studies show that water, upon freezing, creates macroscopic patterns that reflect the influences to which it has been exposed: thoughts, words, images, or music. Water acts as a liquid mirror of consciousness, providing a physical and tangible analog of how a universal field could record and reflect information. Studies in the field of psychology have investigated psychokinesis, PK, the ability of the mind to influence matter, in laboratory settings and experimental workshops. This research demonstrates that consciousness, particularly when charged with heart-centered energy, emotions of love, joy, and gratitude, can produce statistically significant results in physical systems like dice or slot machines. This validates the claim that consciousness creates and that feeling is the catalyst. Finally, the science of consciousness seeks to conduct experiments to obtain tangible and measurable proof of how consciousness, defined as the fundamental substance from which all life emerges, can directly affect matter and human DNA. This field of study aims to scientifically demonstrate that superhuman abilities are a natural extension of the mind-matter connection. Parallel to the scientific spiritual paradigm, there is a current that approaches the Akashic Records from a purely metaphysical and experiential perspective. Here, the dominant metaphor, the one that resonates in the heart of mystics, is that of a vast cosmic library or an energetic archive that contains the complete history of every soul throughout its incarnations. This conceptual evolution from a passive archive to an interactive tool reflects a broader transformation in modern spirituality. The first theosophical conceptions described the records as an immutable photographic film of the past, a chronicle of predestined events. Figures like the famous sleeping prophet, though pioneers, used the records primarily for diagnostics and predictive readings, positioning them as a source of information that only a gifted few could access. The current generation of teachers, however, has democratized and dynamized this concept. It is no longer just about reading the records, it is about rewriting them. There are those who explicitly teach to erase unwanted past life records and to program future records. This shift from a passive to an active role implies a fundamental transformation in the individual's agency. The soul is no longer a mere spectator of its karmic destiny, but the conscious author of its journey. This evolution reflects a broader cultural trend away from submission to a predetermined fate and towards self-realization and the conscious creation of one's own reality. Contemporary teachings define the records as an energetic archive of the soul's journey, accessible through the perspective of the masters, teachers, and loved ones, a loving collective consciousness that guides us. Their focus is on using the records for personal empowerment and the development of consciousness. Other perspectives delve deeper into this idea, describing the records as a vibrational field that not only contains the soul's history, but also its soul plan and the soul contracts it has made for its growth and evolution. Before each incarnation, the soul, in a state of full awareness, designs a plan. It chooses its parents, its main challenges, its gifts, and the souls with which it will interact. These agreements or contracts are designed to facilitate karmic lessons and opportunities for growth. One of the most revolutionary perspectives emerges from the exploration of deep hypnosis. Through the quantum healing hypnosis technique, QHHT, it has been discovered that the subconscious, which is distinguished from the Freudian subconscious and equated with the higher self or oversoul, is a vast intelligence that contains not only all of an individual's experiences across all their lives, but also has access to universal knowledge. In practice, the subconscious functions as a personal and direct portal to the Akashic Records, providing precise information for physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. It is the cosmic library contained within each of us. The vision of the records expands even further to encompass a cosmic and galactic scale. There are those who claim to remember their past lives innately and place the Akashic Records in the 8th dimension. They describe it as a plane of infinite possibilities, with the geometric shape of a torus, which contains the complete memory of the universe. Other research specializes in the galactic Akashic Records. This work expands the concept of the soul archive to include the history of souls across different star systems and extraterrestrial civilizations. This introduces the concept of star seeds, or souls who originated on other worlds like the Pleiades, Arcturus, or Sirius, and have incarnated on Earth at this time to assist in its evolutionary transition. The Akasha, from this perspective, contains not only our human history, but our galactic history. If the Akashic field is a fundamental reality, the crucial question is, how can it be accessed? The teachers and guides of our time present a variety of methodologies that, although different in form, share a common goal: to attune human consciousness to the vibrational frequency of the universal information field. These modalities are not mutually exclusive. Rather, they represent different senses of the soul. Just as we perceive the physical world through dominant sensory channels, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, access to non-physical realms can also occur through different subtle senses. Some methods produce visual experiences, like seeing a library, clairvoyant access. Others rely on receiving verbal information, clairaudient access. And others focus on feeling and bodily energy, clairsentient access. Understanding this range of modalities is essential for you to identify your own dominant intuitive channel. This approach is characterized by the use of structured protocols and specific techniques designed to guide the practitioner into a receptive state of consciousness. The power of sacred prayer. Prayer in this context is not a plea, but a vibrational key, a sequence of words with a specific frequency that attunes your consciousness to that of the Akashic field. The most well-known method is the pathway prayer process, which provides a precise text for opening and closing the records, invoking the forces of light, and asking to see through the eyes of the lords of the records. Another system offers 3 main vibrational keys, access prayers associated with the energies of Sirius, Arcturus, and the Galactic Traveler, designed for a direct and secure connection. Hypnosis as a therapeutic gateway. Regressive hypnosis is used to bypass the conscious mind and access the deep memories of the soul. The quantum healing hypnosis technique, QHHT, induces a deep trance state. In this state, relevant past lives are explored, and then a direct dialogue is established with the subconscious or higher self. This higher intelligence explains the purpose of the lives shown, answers the individual's questions, and can perform deep energetic healing. This technique has been used not only for individual healing, but also for investigating the hidden history of humanity, compiling consistent accounts of life in Atlantis and Lemuria. Meditation and guided visualization. These methods use focused imagination and deep relaxation. Some guides teach to visualize the journey to the Library of Souls, where one meets the guardians of the records and asks for permission to access their book of life. Others offer a more direct approach, teaching to connect with the Akasha through a heart-centered meditation, attuning to the 963 Hz frequency to receive intuitive guidance. Unlike structured methods, some people access Akashic information more directly and spontaneously. Innate memory. There are individuals who describe themselves as rememberers. They claim to have a conscious and continuous memory of their past lives and of universal knowledge since childhood. For them, accessing the Akashic Records is analogous to remembering an event from their own life. Their work consists of anchoring this cosmic information in the collective consciousness. Channeling as an Akashic conduit. Channeling is the process by which an individual allows a non-physical consciousness to speak through them. This consciousness often accesses and transmits information from the Akashic field. Renowned channeled entities have provided long-term perspectives on the Akashic plan for humanity, discussing the spiritual history of the Earth, the evolution of DNA, and the role of civilizations like Lemuria. This category of access is based on the idea that your body and your energy field are sensitive antennas that can tune directly into the Akashic field. Vibrational attunement. By identifying and stabilizing your home frequency, your optimal personal vibration, you develop an empathic resonance. This allows you to receive subtle information directly from the energy field around you. It is not a mental process, but a direct bodily perception where the body feels the information from the Akasha. Connection through feeling. There are those who, as empaths, have the ability to feel other people's emotions within their own body. Their work demonstrates a kinesthetic way of accessing the information field that connects us. The heart, in this view, is the primary organ of perception and interaction with the Akashic field. High vibration emotions like love and gratitude not only feel good, they are the frequency that attunes our consciousness to the creative power of the universe. Once the what and the how of the Akashic Records have been established, we delve into the why, the content of this vast cosmic library, and its practical application for healing, understanding, and evolution. The information obtained from the Akasha is not merely academic. It is a living wisdom that is used to unravel the mysteries of the soul's journey, rewrite the hidden history of humanity, and consciously navigate the evolutionary shift that is underway. One of the most profound uses of the Akashic Records is the illumination of your soul's individual journey through time and incarnations. The records reveal that many of the challenges, patterns, and relationships in your current life are rooted in past life experiences, phobias, chronic illnesses, and complex relational dynamics often originate in events from previous incarnations. Bringing these stories to consciousness initiates a powerful healing process. These experiences create a coded consciousness, an energetic or karmic imprint on our eternal consciousness that influences our current destiny until it is addressed and resolved. The modern approach to Akashic work is deeply therapeutic and proactive. It is not simply about observing the past, but about energetically transforming it. The concept of sacred wounds is introduced. Our deepest wounds are not mistakes, but portals. By exploring them within the safe and loving space of the records, we can discover their purpose at the soul level and use them as a path to unconditional self-love. Others take this a step further with the technique of rewriting records. Since the records are an energy field, we can consciously work to erase or rewrite the energy of past traumatic events. This does not change the historical fact, but it neutralizes its karmic charge, freeing us from its influence. It is also possible to revoke soul contracts and vows. In past lives, we may have made vows, such as of poverty or chastity, or contracts with other souls that now limit our growth. Through the records, these outdated agreements can be identified, understood, and revoked. The life review during a near-death experience is a spontaneous and profound access to one's own Akashic records. During this experience, you not only see your actions, but feel the effect of those actions on others, providing a deep understanding of the soul's karmic lessons. The records are not limited to human history. They contain the complete history of the cosmos. The information retrieved has built a rich narrative about Lemuria and Atlantis. Lemuria is described as a peaceful and telepathic civilization, and Atlantis as one that strayed into technological control, leading to a catastrophic conflict. These regressions have revealed vivid details of the advanced use of crystal technology in Atlantis. The narrative of star seeds provides an origin mythology that gives meaning to the feelings of alienation of many spiritual seekers. It reinterprets the feeling of not belonging as proof of a noble extraterrestrial origin. It assigns a heroic mission. Volunteers came to Earth to assist in its ascension. The galactic Akashic records have made it possible to map out different soul lineages, such as the Pleiadians, empathic healers, Arcturians, logical and energetic architects, Syrians, guardians of mystical knowledge, and others, each with their archetypal traits and missions. A recurring theme in Akashic information is that the Earth and humanity are in the midst of an unprecedented evolutionary transition. This event is described through the concept of the 3 waves of volunteers. After the atomic bombs of 1945, a cosmic call was made for pure souls without earthly karma to incarnate to raise the planet's vibration. The first wave, born approx 1950 to 1960, are the pioneers. The second wave, approx 1970 to 1990, are energy antennas. The third wave, the new children, come with DNA already adapted for the new Earth, a higher frequency reality that is separating from the old 3-dimensional Earth. This period is seen as the graduation of humanity, a recalibration of DNA and consciousness. The records reveal the future potential of humanity. Heart-brain coherence, a state of electromagnetic alignment, can activate latent abilities such as deep self-healing and precise intuition. Psychokinesis validates that consciousness can directly influence the physical world. and superhuman abilities like telekinesis or sight without eyes are presented as the natural result of a consciousness that understands and exercises its true nature as the fundamental force of the universe. As we reach the end of this journey, the exhaustive analysis of the teachings of our time reveals a surprising and profound convergence. The two great currents, the scientific spiritual and the metaphysical experiential, although using different languages and methodologies, unequivocally point toward the same fundamental conclusion. The universe is a conscious, interconnected, and informational system. The zero-point field of physics, the divine matrix of spiritual science, the library of the soul of mysticism, and the subconscious of deep hypnosis are in essence different names for the same underlying reality. They are fingers pointing to the same moon, an all-encompassing field of consciousness that records and shapes all existence. The non-local coherence of quantum physics finds its echo in the telepathic connection of mystics. The ability of intention to collapse the wave function is reflected in the power of prayer to manifest reality. Science and spirit, after a long exile, finally return home to each other. Living in an informed universe, as described by the Akashic paradigm, has profound and transformative implications for the human experience. First, it establishes radical personal responsibility. If our feelings and beliefs are the language that creates reality, then we can no longer see ourselves as victims of circumstances, but as the architects of our destiny. Second, it reveals unlimited human potential. The abilities like self-healing, deep intuition, and conscious manifestation are not gifts for a select few, but the birthright of a species awakening to its true nature. Third, it underscores the critical importance of collective consciousness. As studies on the effects of mass meditation demonstrate, changes in the consciousness of a relatively small number of individuals can create a resonance effect that elevates all of humanity. As we conclude this narration, you have been equipped with a deep and multifaceted knowledge of the Akashic Records. We have explored their dual nature as a phenomenon of physics and a dimension of the spirit. We have detailed and compared the various methodologies for accessing them, from structured prayer to empathic perception. And we have revealed the wisdom they contain, from healing past life traumas to understanding our place in galactic history. True mastery of the Akashic Records, however, does not lie in the mere accumulation of this information. It lies in the integration of this wisdom. It is understanding that every thought, every emotion, and every action is inscribed in the memory of the universe. It is using the tools presented to heal the past, empower the present, and consciously create a future aligned with the soul's highest purpose. This narration has provided the map. The journey to mastery now is up to you. If this journey through the memory of the universe has resonated within you, if it has awakened a longing to know more, to experience more, I invite you to join our community of consciousness explorers by subscribing to this channel. Together, we can continue to unveil the mysteries that connect us to our cosmic heritage and our unlimited future. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this sacred journey. May the wisdom of the Akasha reveal to you the magnificence of your own soul, the beauty of your divine plan, and the infinite power that resides within you. Never forget, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. The book of life is not something you read, it is something you write with every breath, with every choice, with every beat of your heart. Write a magnificent story. May the unfathomable peace that surpasses all understanding, may the profound wisdom that guides your every step, and may the unconditional love that embraces all and heals all of the eternal ages illuminate and abundantly bless your path, now and forever. May it be so.
If you liked this content, hit the like button. Share it with someone who might be interested in this topic, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.